Hey, it has been quite a long time since we had a rig rundown event on Reddit, and as a moderator, I feel like I should probably represent and do one of these, even though I don't think too much has really changed with my guitars and amps since last time, apart from three. I covered two of them on my channel already. But in case you haven't seen those videos already, I will give you an update on the three new ones. So this is my Sterling edition, so the basic bitch budget edition for people who can't afford the full fat Ernie Ball. This is of course the St. Vincent signature. I have always wanted one of these since they came out. Then I realised how much the regular ones cost and thought, nope. And then the Sterling ones came out and I thought, aha, maybe I'm in with a chance at last. But then pretty much forgot all about them. I randomly shared a post from I Am Joan of Heart on Instagram. She posted a picture of her full fat, bright blue Ernie Ball St. Vincent, and I shared it on my Instagram with a caption, I think, saying something like, I really want one of these or something. And somebody replied to that post saying, hey, I'm selling my St. Vincent Sterling edition if you're interested. And he lived in the UK and offered me a great price, so I jumped on it. And this is a great guitar. I did do a full review video on this thing when I got it, and I will link to that in the description. But yeah, so I'm not going to go over all of the minute details and everything on this guitar, but I do love it. It needs a little bit of attention, I think. I think the intonation might need some slight tweaking. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I just think that some of the notes aren't quite as sharp as they could be further down the neck. So I think I'll get this a proper setup at some point. But that aside, it's a fantastic guitar. Plays amazingly well. Pickups sound great as well. And it has a 5-way position, so you can select the single coil sounds from the pickups as well. Very, very cool. I don't have the tremolo bar, so I need to get one of those at some point, even though I don't really use vibrato on the guitars. I'd rather have a pedal for that, or use vibrato on the finger, my fretting hand. Yeah, great guitar. I think actually I might get this blocked off at some point. Maybe that might be the way to go with this, because as I say, I don't use the vibrato. Anyway, great guitar, highly recommend. Moving on. I don't want this video to be long at all, even though I know it will be. This is the other guitar that I have already reviewed on my channel. I've wanted one of these for, I can't remember how long, and late last year I just kind of made it my mission to get one, and it had to be yellow as well. And I was hunting around for a UK listing for one of these, and I saw a few different coloured versions. I saw a few black ones which looked a bit boring, and I think a grey one which looked cool but was too expensive. Then I saw this, and it was not in the UK. It was on eBay, but it was a Japanese eBay seller. I had it in my watch list for a long time, and a few times thought, oh, shall I just pull the trigger and buy it anyway, regardless, or shall I carry on holding out for a UK listing? Anyway, I had it in my watch list for so long, eventually I noticed the price came down a little bit. I think the listing had changed to include a make an offer option. So I Sent them an offer offering less again. In my mind, I was thinking, if they've dropped the price a little bit already, maybe that means they're prepared to take a lot less. So I put an offer in and they accepted straight away, no haggling or anything, which really took me by surprise. I knew what I was paying up front for the shipping, and it wasn't too bad. I think it was something like 50-60 quid on top of the actual guitar. I think in total it came to about 380-ish, I think. However, FedEx delivered it, and FedEx, I've noticed, do this weird thing where they deliver your parcel, bog off, and then you get a text or letter or whatever from them like 2 or 3 days later saying, we delivered your thing, now you owe us customs. And I'm like, that's a weird way around of doing it. Anyway, long story short, I owed the customs for this, which was about 90 quid. That stung quite a lot, I'm not going to lie. Anyway, that's all the boring acquisition part of the story out of the way. The guitar itself was worth it. It's so cool to look at. It is quite old, so a lot of the plastic parts have faded and gone a bit tacky and a bit unpleasant. The pickguard in particular is very tacky and unpleasant, a little bit sticky in places as well, which I've washed and wiped and done all kinds of things to try and get rid of that element of it, but it just seems to just hasn't gone away. Very strange. It didn't come with a tremolo bar either, so I'm looking out for one of those, basically just purely to keep the originality of the guitar. But as I said before, I don't really use it, and it does have a kind of flattened plate on top with like a recessed bit, so you can kind of rest your palm on there and kind of hit it to kind of get some pitch bends going on, which is quite cool. The bridge itself is really, really nice and unique. I don't know if you can see that. It's got this roller bridge on it that's very comfortable to rest your hand on. Very cool. Love the banana shaped headstock as well. It's so cool and unique. I love this thing. I know it's very controversial. It divides opinion everywhere I go. Every time that people see it, they either love it or hate it. And I am one of the people who loves it, obviously. So that is currently my number one. While my actual number one, which you have seen before, my 1980s Japanese Strat, broke a E string recently. Say recently, it was probably about 3 months ago now. And I always use this for filming demos with, and just because it's got some really bright, punchy Seymour Duncan pickups in it. Well, one Seymour Duncan pickup in it. And I always just use that on the bridge for recording demos with. So when that happened, I was like, crap, what do I do? And the bridge pickup in the Yamaha is, I wouldn't say similar, but it is nice and bright, and I do like the sound of it, so I basically just switched over to using that for demos, and it is doing a great job so far. Guitar number 3. I have not shown this on my channel yet, but I have put it on my Instagram. This was a crazy bargain. This is an Epiphone Explorer from the, I think, the late 90s. It's from the Unsung factory in Korea. I have owned a couple of Korean Epiphone Explorers in my time. I had a Carina one like this with the wood and the white scratch plate, and I loved it to pieces. That was a bargain as well, if I remember. And I also had a silver one as well, which was a limited edition. It's like a sparkly silver grey kind of body. I will put a picture of that up if I can find one on my phone. I don't know if I've still got that picture anymore, but if not, I will put a stock photo up. Loved that thing. Eventually sold it when times got hard and I decided it had to go. Then I saw this last year, again, I think it was soon after I bought the Yamaha actually. I saw this on eBay and thought, wow, if I ever want to get another one of these, this is the one to get. It has had so much work done on it. At some point in its life, it has had a neck break, which is not ideal, but I personally actually quite like when a guitar has had a neck break, because it's almost like it's already had the terrible thing happen to it. And although a lot of people get scared off by the unsightly crack on the back, I'm very well aware that the glue is usually, if it's done right, which this was, the glue is stronger than the wood around it. So if anything, this is now a stronger neck than it was when it left the factory. So if it's going to break again, it'll be somewhere else, basically, not that join. And I've had it for a while, under tension, for, as I say, a few months now, and it's lasted fine. So I'm not worried in the slightest, and obviously that meant that I got the guitar for a lot less than I would normally have paid if it was in perfect condition. So I think, what did I pay for this? I think it was something like 250 quid or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but I think it was something in that ballpark. It was cheap anyway. These things usually go for well over 350, closer to 400 these days, maybe even 5. They're great guitars, they sound amazing. I love Epiphones from this era. I've had several over the years, and they've always been vastly superior to any of the more recent Epiphones that have been produced. So that is my Explorer. I absolutely love it, and I should probably play it a lot more than I do, but I've got quite a few others that I also feel compelled to reach for, including my Epiphone Firebird. So I have shown this last time, I think. I can't remember, but in case I haven't, here it is. This is my Firebird 1 Joe Bonamassa signature limited edition. I think they only made about 1,000 of these, so they're pretty rare and highly coveted. I know I was just saying about more recent Epiphones not being that great, and this is a handcrafted in China model. However, Joe Bonamassa, as much as I dislike the man, he knows how to spec a guitar, and he is a perfectionist. So the fact that this has his printed signature on the back of the headstock tells you straight away that he was not messing around with the specifications of this guitar. This is not cheap. Even though it has Epiphone on the headstock, this is easily as good, if not better, than most Gibsons that I've played. This is easily up there with a Gibson custom shop. It's spectacular. I absolutely adore this thing. I paid, I think, about £850 for it, which is cheap. That's a good price. That was 6060 Sounds in London, in Denmark Street. I just happened to go in there with some friends. This was hanging on the wall. I thought, wow, I've never actually played a Firebird one. And it looks amazing with this, I think it's called Silver Mist. I think that's the name of the colour. I've always wanted a Firebird. I'd never had a Firebird in general, let alone a Firebird 1. And I always wanted one based purely on the look of it and this raised kind of middle section. Obviously it's a through neck, or a neck through body design. Always loved that idea and wanted one basically because of that. So I played it and immediately fell in love with it. I thought this is the most spectacular guitar that I've played in recent years. I wish I could afford to buy it, and I left it in the shop went away, thought about it, came back home, and one of my friends who I was there with that day, who lives in London, I spoke to him, and basically the next day was talking to him about the potential for buying this if I could get the money together, and would he be willing to go back to the shop and collect it for me. So he said yes. I then was on a selling frenzy to get the money together to pay for this, and then a couple of other mates of mine were just incredible and basically chipped in and lent me a significant amount of money to get this guitar before it sold to somebody else. So they recognised that I had the gas, and the red mist was descended on me at that time. I couldn't think about anything other than getting this guitar. So they helped out massively with that, and I'm forever indebted to them for helping me. And I didn't, it didn't take me too long to pay them back either, thank goodness. So I was able to sell off a whole bunch of stuff over the course of the preceding months, and managed to get the money back to everyone. So yeah, it is now 100% mine, and I didn't sell anything that I wouldn't be able to buy back again at some point. So all of the various pedals that I sold off during that period, I have now recently started to reacquire. So I'm picking up the pieces to get back to the collection that I had before. That can go back on the wall, being careful. This headstock is so large, it really does make it tricky to put back on the hanger. It does have some knocks and dings on it, but honestly, I don't mind. It's all part of the history as far as I'm concerned. I'm not a collector in that sense. Anyway, amps are the same. You saw them last time. My Boss Katana Mark 1, and I think last year or end of the year before, I got the Granger Hammerhead 50. That's my only kind of valve amp that I've got. Great amp, but I don't really use it. Anyway, that's pretty much all I've got to say about amps. Pedals, that's where it's at. I'm going to take the camera off the stand for this. So, this is, ignore my lighting setup here. This is my recording rig for shooting demos. It's pretty basic, as you can see. I've got my Amp Academy, is the main ampless solution I'm using to record with, and the output of that is just going from the DI out. That goes straight into my phone. So it does a great job. It has onboard reverb as well, so I just use it for like a clean. I think I use it as I think I use it in the messer setting for a clean sound, because I love a clean messer. And then I've got my loop core, not the best, sadly. It's got some pretty weak drum samples in it. These days I mostly use the drums just for reference when I'm recording the loop that I'm then going to send through the pedal I'm demoing. Then I turn the drum off to actually film the video. So on the rare occasion I do use the drums that are in this pedal, I send that through the Source Audio Dimension reverb. So this is an amazing precursor to the Ventris. In fact, it uses a lot of the same algorithms that the Ventris uses. You can see probably a few of the modes there. They're very similar and reminiscent of the Ventris modes, which I do own. I do have the Ventris there. Anyway, that's my recording rig, powered by the amazing Harley Benton ISO 10AC Pro. That's got a whole bunch of high current outputs on there, so I can easily power whatever I'm demoing. And under here I've got a Mosky Padola power, which is just running everything that's on here. Oh, I forgot to mention the NuX Flow Tune, which is an amazing little tuner. Fantastic display on there, really nice and clear and bright. Love that. And yeah, that's pretty much everything that I'm recording with there, and that basically goes into my Boss Katana for monitoring purposes, so I can actually hear what I'm recording. While I'm here, I'll just quickly show you the amp I mentioned earlier. This is my Granger Hammerhead 50 head and cab. It's a 50 watt valve amp, but it does switch down to 25 watts, and I think 15 watts as well. Pedalboard. I did an extremely long video on this very recently, so I'm seriously not going to go over this again. I will link that down below if you want to see details about what's on this board and how it came to be. I'm not going into that anymore. These are a few of the pedals that I've received recently. This one just came today, actually. I already demoed a version of this on my channel. This is the 5 Cats Pedals Fuzz. I loved it so much that I basically requested a customized version of it where the jacks are on top. This little tone knob is mounted on the face of the pedal, not on the side, and asked if he could do that for me, basically, and he did. He said, "That's not a problem, I will hook you up." So thank you to Darren at 5 Cats Pedals for that. It's an amazing fuzz. So that came today. Yeah, I've had so many of these this last month or so. NRG Effects is another awesome British company that I've been sent these to demo. I will get around to them soon. Discomfort Designs have the Ryman's Grave bit crushing extravaganza. This thing is just absolutely insane. I love this pedal. It's so good. It's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to getting around to filming the demo for this, hopefully this week. Also came a few weeks ago, I still haven't gotten around to demoing it yet, is the Boss Slicer. I had an original SL20 several years ago, and I unfortunately sold just before the price is starting to go crazy on them. So when the SL2 was announced, I was punching the air when that came out. Just such a great pedal. So I'm really psyched to have this back in my collection, or this effect anyway, back in my collection. Electro-Harmonix Eddie. I demoed this pedal a while ago, but that was a mate's pedal that he lent me to film a demo with. It made a big impression, and after that I swore I was going to buy myself one of those at some point, and that was probably about a year and a half ago, and it's taken me this long to get around to finding a decent deal on one of those. Highly recommend that pedal, it's amazing. This brings me down to these two. These are from Iceberg Effects, and these are incredible dual overdrive pedals that can be linked together using a little cable, and there's a really clever switching system in here. So you can basically, I'm not going to go into it right now, but basically you can use one foot switch to turn on and off various different combinations of both pedals with the cables plugged in, and just within one pedal you can use the 1 foot switch to either turn both sides on together or just the one, or bounce between them. Very, very clever, unique switching system on these pedals. I will be getting around to demoing these very soon as well, so look out for that. They sound great as well, by the way. And coming over here, a bit of a novelty purchase. I bought this recently for 25 quid on eBay. For that price, I could not let it go. It's a behemoth of a tuner. It's just amazing. It's something of a meme. I've been joking with various friends of mine that I will get one of these one day. So when I eventually found one so cheap, I jumped on it, and I'm so grateful to have found one of these, because they usually go for about 80, sometimes 100 quid. Way too much money for me to spend on a tuner pedal I have absolutely no intention of using ever in a practical way. So I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with this yet. I don't know if I'll be able to actually demo it in any way. It's not in the best condition. There's a bit of a weird fading pattern thing going on here with the plastic over the screen. Not quite sure what's gone on there, but it's underneath, I think. Anyway, it's a very cool tuner pedal I'm very grateful to have. Going back to what I was saying earlier about pedals that I sold that I've now started to buy back again. This is one of them, the Deluxe Big Muff. I have owned this pedal twice before, and each time that I've kind of been forced into a position of selling it, I've always missed it. So I'm really grateful and relieved to finally have this one back in my collection. I probably will do a deep dive video on this one soon. This came yesterday, the Nemesis Delay. I love the Ventris so much, I decided to get the Delay little brother. So I don't know if that's going to end up being on my board, on my next board anyway, as a 1-2 punch for the Source Audio. But it always gets mentioned in everybody's favourite delay pedal list, so I'm expecting great things from that. However, before this arrived, only about a week ago, I got this. So the Boss DD200 has been on my list of pedals to buy for quite a while, pretty much ever since it came out. And I strongly suspect that this will beat this on form factor and functionality and all of those kinds of things. As far as the delay sounds themselves are concerned, I am not sure if they'll be as good as what's probably in here, but I'm looking forward to doing a shootout of these two and seeing how they compare. Look out for that. Obviously, this was demoed recently, and is an amazing and very unique kind of pitch bendy vibrato kind of a pedal. Really, really cool. It responds to your playing dynamics, and very, very fun to play with. This is from Matoverse Electronics, the Air Trash. It's kind of a I don't know, like a lo-fi, bit crushy fuzz kind of thing, with like a kind of staticky white noise kind of quality to the fuzz. Really interesting, unique kind of sounding fuzz pedal. A lot of fun. That will be coming soon on my channel as well, so look out for that. I could literally spend another hour probably talking through all of the stuff that I have here, but I'm not going to do that. I have done demos of most of these, I think, apart from actually several of the pedals on this shelf I haven't done demos of yet, including this one, which is a Keeley Fuzzbender. One of the best fuzz pedals I've ever owned. Really, really amazing. I was not prepared for how much I was going to enjoy that one. Look out for the demo of that. It's going to be a good one. And then back here, I got this recently. This is a clone of the Evil filter by Death by Audio. This is by a company called Defects, operating out of Croatia, I believe. And it's much smaller, being in a 1590 BB enclosure. Is it BB or is it an XX? I forget. It's large, basically. It's the same size as the Deluxe Big Muff, same exact enclosure, but upright. So that demo is coming soon. Very, very cool pedal. Sounds about as crazy as it looks. I bought this recently, and it's okay, but I don't love it as much as I was hoping to. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it in the slightest. It sounds great. I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. It's the X-Vive memory. It's designed by the same person, or one of the same people, that had a hand in the famous Deluxe Memory Man. So, yeah, the coveted delay pedal that everybody wants and commands a pretty vicious price point these days. This is a much more affordable alternative, and even has a speed control, which the Memory Man does not have. So the fact this has depth and speed controls for the modulation, and also a foot switch to turn the modulation on and off. Very, very cool to have. And yeah, it's a great pedal, but I just, honestly, I've got so many other analog delays at this point that I don't think I'm ever going to use it, as good as it sounds. It's one of the other reasons why I'm not going to use it is because I have this. This is the Blind Panic Devices, the lithium delay in its largest form. Blind Panic Devices do make or are currently working on a smaller version of this pedal without the crazy steampunk-ish kind of design on the top, or without quite as much going on anyway. And this thing is just a beast, an absolute beast of a pedal. Matt from Blind Panic Devices is currently in hospital at the moment, so be sure to send him a lot of love. Send him your best wishes and comments on Instagram and all of that kind of thing. I'm sure he'd appreciate the support and the comments right now. So thank you, Matt, for that incredible pedal. Another one I still keep meaning to demo is the Ibanez Tri-Mode Chorus. I know Jeff from Stomp Box Breakdown channel has been doing a lot of these Ibanez pedals, and he's been collecting the Tone Lock series recently, so I'm sure he's probably going to be all over this one very soon already, if he hasn't already. I can't remember, but yeah, I will get to it at some point. Another one that I haven't, well, another two pedals that I haven't demoed yet. These are in, I'm not even sure what size enclosures these are, but the Mantic is the upside down version of whatever the Danelectro is. So we've got top jacks on the Danelectro back torque. I got this super cheap. This was only £100 on eBay. Usually they're at least 180 or so. So huge thanks to my best mate Ben for managing to spot this on eBay and giving me a heads up. So I grabbed that straight away. An incredible sounding reverse delay. And this is another bargain I found on eBay. This one I got for about 80 quid. It's the Mantic Pendulum, and it has a whole bunch of clever ins and outs and effects loop things that it can do. Essentially, it's a utility pedal that lets you do all kinds of panning and fading from your regular signal chain through the main in and out with the effects loop. So you've got a secondary in and out jack there, which you can then use the controls on here to, there's 3 different modes I think, which basically give you all kinds of different options for cross fading, like a tremolo thing, but between 2 effects. So rather than just a tremolo, which is just an on-off square wave kind of thing, with this you can have a panning tremolo kind of effect where you could have, say, a chorus on one side and, I don't know, a delay or something on this side, and you can just bounce back and forth between them. It's just incredible. So there are so many cool applications for this pedal. I haven't got around to making the demo of this one yet, but I'm really, really excited to do that because I think the demo for this is going to be a lot of fun. So that will be coming hopefully soon. Oh, I forgot to mention a couple more up here. This is from Rockrite Effects. All of you lot are sleeping on Rockrite. They're amazing. Incredible pedal brand that are in the UK here. And this one is a really cool filter pedal. Again, I haven't got around to demoing yet. And I've got another one of his down here, which I did demo recently. This is the FFR. Basically a fuzz face and a range master in one pedal with top jacks. Incredible, sounds as amazing as you're imagining it does. All of the other stuff on my other shelves you have probably seen before if you follow my channel. Anything that you haven't seen here yet will probably be coming soon at some point. I think one other pedal back here is hiding. There we go. This is yet another pedal that I have reclaimed for my collection, along with the Deluxe Big Muff. The Ravish sitar. This is so unique and so good. I've missed it immensely, and I was able to find this for a crazy price of £90 on Gumtree. I had to drive all the way up to Liverpool to collect it because he wouldn't post it for some reason. But yeah, I was able to do the journey, and only cost me, I think, 20 quid in fuel. So I was able to take it very, very steady all the way to Liverpool and back. Quite a long journey, so I suppose technically it cost me about 110 all in, but still, these things go for 150, 160 usually. So very happy to have gotten such a great deal on one of those. And again, third time I've owned one of those pedals. And that's pretty much it, really. Those are the highlights, anyway, of the pedals that I've got. Other guitars down here. You saw the Explorer. This is the oldest guitar that I own. Well, the oldest one the one I've owned for the longest, shall I say. This is my Epiphone Gold Top 56. Again, this is a Korean model, and the first proper guitar that I ever owned. I put the trapeze bridge on here a couple of years back just because I thought it would look cool, and I think it does. Great guitar, plays amazing. I did set it up for slide for some reason. I don't play slide, but I thought it'd be fun to have a guitar that was set up for it. And ever since, I've been frustrated that I can't play regular style guitar on it. So I will get this set up again soon to play non-slide stuff. But yeah, it's a great guitar. Carefully putting that away. Yeah, everything else you've seen before. Bass I have owned for a long, long time as well. It's only a cheapie. It's got a Aperture Laboratories sticker on there from Portal, and it plays surprisingly well. I just like having a full-scale bass in my collection. This I've talked about before and is in exactly the same condition that you probably saw it in last. I've got too many. I haven't got enough hands. There we go. So this is a Project Bass 6 that I've been working on for a while, and as you can see, it needs a lot of work doing. The main thing that it needs is routing, or as you Americans would say, I don't know, routing? I don't know how you pronounce it. You basically need, it basically just needs some channels cutting out of the inside of the guitar to install all of the various wiring and stuff that I want to put in here. Also, the pickup cavities need to be widened as well to make room for these humbucking pickups that I've got, these mini humbuckers. And this is not a mini humbucker, as it looks like it is. It's actually a sustainer pickup. So this is going to be, hopefully, a sustaining bass 6, which I'm very, very excited to hopefully get finished at some point. But it's been an idea of mine for a while to have a guitar with a sustainer system on it. And I thought there are so many other guitars around with a sustainer system fitted from the factory, or have been added later on. Wouldn't it be fun to do that with a completely unique kind of guitar rather than just a regular one? So yeah, having a full range bass guitar, 6-string basically, would be a lot of fun, I thought. So I'm hoping to get round to doing that this year, and I have got a router in the garage that I bought specifically to do this job. So at some point, hopefully in the warmer weather, I will dig that out and crack on with getting this fixed and finished. So that's basically my guitar collection. That's basically it. So I hope you've enjoyed or appreciated this quick tour. Say quick, you know, it's quick for me. Come on, I'm impressed that I kept this under 3/4 of an hour. Looking forward to seeing all the rest of your videos from this weekend, and thanks for watching. Bye.